Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to go over to Spain once again, so it's my first Spanish beer review for you in quite some time. So we're going to go to the very beautiful city of Barcelona in Catalunya in the northeastern part of Spain. And this is a brewery who I've only seen very recently, so we're going to go to Edge Brewing and have a taste of their Hoptimista beer, which is an American style IPA. Very highly rated on RateBeer and BeerAdvocate.com in fact. But the only other Spanish beer reviews that I've done for you, I think, were all from Cerveceria Tiris, who are also from Barcelona and a very nice brewery actually, so it's quite cool to return to this city for my next Spanish beer review. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I will take you through a very brief history of the brewery. It will only be a minute or two long, but if you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. The brewery website's in the video description for you below, along with a link to my other reviews that I'm sure I'll add in the future from Edge Brewing, because apparently their beers are very, very good, so I'm sure I will do some more of those for you. But anyway, Edge Brewing, like I told you, are based in Barcelona in Catalunya in the northeastern part of Spain. But the brewery was founded in 2013 by two Americans, Scott Vanover, who deals mainly with the business side of things, and Alan Shepard, who is the head brewer. But these guys basically wanted to bring the American craft brewing renaissance with them to Europe, and they chose the very beautiful city of Barcelona to do that. And Barcelona really is on my kind of bucket list of places to go. It looks an incredible place, and Catalunya of course has its own kind of very distinct culture and its own language and things, so a very, very cool place to visit if you do go down towards southern Europe and Spain and things like that. Very cool place apparently. But with them they brought various different sexy, shiny stainless steel brewing kits from America, and if you go and look at the brewery you can get a good look at that, or indeed on the website it will show you that too. But they actually developed most of their recipes before they established their brewery back in 2013. But the brewery is now located in the Poble Nou district of Barcelona, which is apparently quite a kind of gastronomy heaven, if you like. Some of you who are watching from Spain I'm sure can tell me a little bit more about that. But they have their own bar on site, and they offer various brewery tours, mainly at the weekends, where Alan Shepard is often present to actually put his input into the tour. So quite an interesting little thing there. But head brewer Alan is actually from Florida, and apparently he's done work with over 350 different breweries worldwide. But in the brewery he likes to use imported Yakima Valley hops from the northwest of the United States, and he also brings in yeast from White Labs in San Diego, which he says is the home of American craft beer. And this is apparently quite regularly flown in on an overnight express, and they also use water treatment equipment to actually treat the water that goes into their beer as well, because they say that the city water in Barcelona really isn't good for brewing beer, so they do treat their water quite a lot before they put it into the beer. So there's a lot of interesting aspects to the brewing of this one, and they do have a very, very experienced and quite well respected brewer too. So quite a cool brewery to return to Spain and review for you. But they do have actually quite a big inventory of different beers. Just to list these for you before we get on to the tasting. They have the Flor de Vida, which is an American IPA. Hoptimista, of course, this guy here, another American IPA. So Rodriguez, which is a rye IPA. Power Plant, which is a Saison. Padrino Original, which is a porter. Baratina, which is an amber ale. Juggernaut, which is a double IPA. Midnight Lullaby, which is a barrel-aged imperial stout. Toronja Horizon, which is a rye IPA with oranges. Sounds very nice. Stiletto, which is another Saison. Gift to Gasper, which is an imperial porter. Pure Decadence, which is a stout. Brass Knuckles, which is an American strong ale. And the last one is Eternal Sunshine, which is an orange IPA. So as you can see, they do have quite a nice inventory of different beers that you can go and choose from. So do go and check out the website and have a look at those for yourselves. I'm sure you'll find something that you will particularly like from Edge Brewing, and they're all quite highly rated, as I told you, so do go and give them a try. But before we go on to the tasting, I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork on this one. This guy is a 6.6% American IPA, as I'm sure you can tell. But it looks very nice. It's actually very nicely presented. You can see the little angel flying the hop cone around. I do quite like that. It says on the side here, Edge Brewing was founded by two Americans to join the craft beer revolution in Barcelona. Using American equipment and ingredients and know-how, Edge produces fresh American-style craft beer in one of the most exciting cities in Europe. A new city, a new language, a new world, a new beer we've come to explore. Come and join us. And it also says on the side, this beer is a West Coast original. This IPA has bold levels of hop aroma, bitterness, bitterness and flavour, dry hopped in 2 stages to give it a piney, citrusy and soft fruit flavour to satisfy your hop cravings. So it looks very nice. As I say, go and check out the brewery website and you can see the other ones that they do, and this is the standard bottle cap from Edge Brewing. So let's get on to the tasting of this beer. So just before I open it up, I will tell you a little bit about the specs of it. It's 6.6% American IPA, as I told you. It contains Cascade, Centennial and Chinook hops, all of course from Yakima Valley in America, and it has a malt base of Pilsner Premium, Cara Red, Cara Hell, Cara Munich 2 and also Cara Pils. So should be a very nice beer for us to review today. So let's get this guy open and we'll get on to the tasting. So as you can see, a nice little smoky opening there, so let's get this guy out and into the glass. But it's actually really cool to return to Spain and Catalunya in particular to review another beer for you. So it's quite often, I found with France and the Netherlands, 2 countries you wouldn't expect to find such good beer from, that you do get some really good stuff. So I'm sure Spain can actually be looked at in the same light. A lot of very good beer from these countries that you wouldn't think there is. So really cool to return to them. And I actually grew up playing classical guitar and flamenco music, so it's always really cool to find something from Spain to do on my YouTube channel. So I really do like that. But anyway, as you can see, the beer is poured a really nice kind of rich golden amber colour. I'll just put the light over and let you see exactly what that is. It has a kind of half finger of a frothy, slightly creamy coloured head actually. It is hazy. If I put my fingers behind the glass, you can't see through it at all, so it is quite hazy. There's 1 or 2 little bits of sediment there just at the bottom, but it looks a very, very nice beer, and there is quite a bit of carbonation just visible going up towards the bottom of the head, and some bigger bubbles just sticking to the side of the glass as well. So it looks a very, very nice beer. So let's have a little look at the aroma of this one and then we'll get stuck in. It smells like your typical IPA. A lot of nice fruity character in there in this one, but you've got big hoppy characters in this, as you would expect. So there's some nice kind of piney resins in there. Piney resin in this, and the hops that they have in this beer, it's most likely to come from the Chinook hop incidentally, but you've got a lot of kind of floral and aromatic-y hop coming out too, which is more the Centennial hop. But there is a good little bit of citrus in there too, which is a kind of sort of citrusy orange. And that, I think, comes from a mix of the Centennial. I think that's mainly the Centennial that will give you that as well. The Centennial is quite a sort of citrusy and florally aromatic hop. But you can pick out just a little bit of the kind of tropical fruit, that sort of sour, typical grapefruit one that you get in there. So you'll get that mainly from the Cascade and from the Chinook as well. So you've got a nice big dose of the typical hoppy characteristics you would expect from this style. So some nice pine resins, a good bit of kind of aromatic and floral hop, some nice citrus, a little bit of orange, but you do have a good bit of that kind of more sour aroma from the grapefruit that you'd expect. But underneath it, if you do swirl it up a little bit, you can pick up a little bit of the bready malts coming out too. And on top of that, you're just getting a little bit of kind of caramel, maybe a little bit of biscuity, grainy character as well, but it does have all the elements that you would expect of an American IPA. So without further ado, let's get stuck into this guy. So this is the Hoptimista American IPA, 6.6% from Barcelona in Catalunya. Slàinte. It's really nice actually. Very nice and very light beer. It's got a whole host of flavour going on in here. You need to let your mouth adjust to this one a little bit so you can pick up all the different things that are going on. Yeah, it's actually not too punchy in any kind of regard. This is a more blended flavour IPA, and I do like ones that are like that, where you can pick out all the different elements of the flavour. So yeah, well, the types of malts in this, it's mainly German malt that's in this. It's quite interesting because it has it gives you just a nice light bready blanket over the middle of the palate, and as you move into the aftertaste, the hop character just builds up on top of that, so it's quite interesting. You do have a nice little bit of kind of caramelly sweetness that just goes down the middle of the tongue. It's more of a biscuity, kind of grainy sweetness in it, and it is slightly toasted as well, but the main component of the malt base in this one really is the kind of light sort of Munich-y malts you're getting out of it. It's very nice actually, and quite an interesting quirk in the beer. But yeah, as your mouth adjusts to it a little bit more, you do start to get out a little bit more of the caramel sweetness, so that kind of builds a little bit as you go through the beer, and that's where you'll get a lot of the boozy flavours out of it as well, as in that kind of caramelly flavour in the malt base, but a nice big bready blanket over the middle of the tongue. Very, very nicely done. The German malts work very well with this style, I think. But after that, you're moving more into the hoppy characteristics, so around the edge of the tongue you're getting a lot of these really nice kind of floral and aromatic bitterness flavours, but you can, more in the aftertaste, you can pick up these pine resin flavours that just really underpin the flavour of the beer. So it's really on the back edges of the tongue there that you're picking up a lot of these nice piney resin flavours in this one. Yeah, so even when the liquid is on your tongue, you're getting this kind of nice dark piney resin in there. It's really, really nicely done. The flavours in this beer blend together very, very well. But around the front of the tongue, you're getting a bit more of the fruity character in this one, so you can get a little bit of an orangey flavour, I think. But the main component of the fruity flavours really is the kind of sour grapefruit, I think, coming out in this one. But there is some citrus in there. You'll feel this little oily bubble moving just towards the front of your tongue, and you've got a good bit of the kind of grapefruity flavours in there, the sort of fruity esters you're getting out, but there is a good bit of citrus in there too. And I want to say the fruity flavour really is a mix between a kind of citrusy orange and a grapefruit in there, but it is more the grapefruit, I think, that's coming out. But around the front edge of the tongue, like I say, it's a nice kind of floral and aromatic, slightly grassy hop, and then as you move further back on the tongue, there's maybe just a little hint of earthy character coming out too, and that gives you a good build up between the malt base and the hops, but it's mainly piney resin on the back sides of the tongue and floral aromatic character around the edge, and some fruit just at the very front of the tongue. So overall, there's a lot of flavour going on in this beer, and it is very nice, and it blends together really well. So I would recommend that you try this, and I can see why it has quite good ratings on Rate Beer and Beer Advocate. I believe I'm saying quite good, but it actually has very good ratings, I should say that. But yeah, in terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I would say it is quite mid-bodied, quite an oily mouthfeel in fact. But yeah, it does have quite a light bit of carbonation on this one, and that helps bring out the kind of piney resin in the flavour early on, and you'll just feel that build into the aftertaste in fact. So a nice mid-bodied, slightly oily feel to this one, and just a light carbonation that brings out these piney flavours. But there's a nice fruity character to it as well, but there's a big aromatic and floral kind of dryness to this. It's almost a little bit spicy actually in the mouthfeel, so it's a very, very nice beer, and I really would recommend that you try it. So yeah, overall this is another really nice American IPA beer. Quite cool to find this beer from Barcelona in Spain in fact, and as I said to you, the countries like France and the Netherlands, you wouldn't expect to find such good beer from it, and I've got a feeling that Spain is perhaps like that too, because also in Barcelona you have Cerveceria Tires, who are another very, very good brewery, but this is another very good beer from a country that you wouldn't quite expect to find such a good beer from, so very cool in that regard. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this beer review. Please let me know in the comment sections below your own thoughts on this beer, always interesting to read them. I will be back soon with more reviews, and hopefully I can do more from Edge Brewing and from other breweries in Spain as well. So I thank you again for watching. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff, and I will catch you soon with my next review, and I hope to read your comments below. Slàinte.